Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to you from Erina in Australia. We're in the state of New South Wales for the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. A beautiful part of the world, but this is the venue for the championships. This is Erina Ice Arena, part of a large shopping complex and normally home to ice hockey and figure skating, but it's top class curling that's coming your way right now. We're into session 10 rather, of the women's draw, and our feature game here will be Korea against Japan. Korea have already qualified, and Japan with a little bit of work to do as yet. China, if they win their next game, they will also advance, but a little bit still to be decided there in the standings. Korea leading the way and looking very, very impressive this week. I'm Alison Walker, and alongside me, Hans Fraunlaub. We'll be providing live commentary on the whole game. But there are the teams for you. First of all, the lead, Young-mi Kim. Second, Young Kim. Third player, Young-ai Kim. And the skip, Eun-young Kim. And for Japan, we have lead player Yurika Yoshida at second, Mari Motohashi. Chinami Yoshida is third, and the Japanese skip Satsuki Fujisawa. So those are the two lineups, and here are two sets of players wishing each other luck, just getting themselves prepared. And Hans, I know you've seen a fair bit of both these teams this week. What's your feeling here?
Well, we're looking at a little bit of a hairband adjustment here for Team Japan, and they've struggled a little bit unexpectedly for me, Alison. They're at 3-3. They haven't really fired yet, and on the other hand, Eun-young Kim's Korean squad have looked very impressive. They're the defending Pacific Asia champions and very much looking the part so far in the tournament.
So Korea will be red and Japan yellow. Japan performing exceptionally well at the Women's Worlds last year, or earlier this year rather. And this will be a very, very stern test for them this evening in the Erina Ice Arena. They're looking fairly relaxed at the moment, just waiting to get things underway. And we'll bring you all the action live here from Erina. As the lead player, Yoshida, gets us underway. She's 24 years old. She's barely walking when she started curling. And a pretty solid lead player for Japan. Oldest team from Hokkaido in the northern part of Japan and play out of Tokoro Curling Club.
So I've been fortunate enough to visit Tokoro.
Lead player for Korea is Young-mi Kim. She's 26. Lives in Seoul in Korea. Full-time curler, and of course part of the Olympic team for Pyeongchang next year. Very, very important few months for this Korean team. Always chatting, this team, aren't they, Hans? Always communicating.
No, they're a lot of fun to watch. Actually, both of these teams are. The first time I saw Eun-young Kim's Korean team was at the 2014 Pacific Asia Championships, and a young team and really unlucky not to win that tournament. They were the best team on the ice the whole week, and likewise Satsuki Fujisawa's team had their breakthrough season a couple of years ago. Silver medalists in Swift Current, and yes, both teams are true units in the sense of the word.
Here we go with the second for Japan, Mari Motohashi, 31 years old. Also from Hokkaido originally, and playing out of Tokoro Curling Club.
Loses her shooter there.
Young Kim, second for Korea.
Also known as Sunny to her teammates. And we've really seen this Korean team mature over the last 2-3 years, growing into the role. Yes, they've accepted the mantle of the #1 Korean team, and there are a number of very good Korean women's curling teams. But as you said, Allison, they'll be representing Korea at the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, and far from being daunting for them, they're really looking forward to the challenge.
Well, they've worked extremely hard. It has been non-stop, full-time, all about curling. A very disciplined team, very focused team.
Rips the guard.
Third player for Japan, Jinami Yoshida. Again started curling at a very tender young age. Part of that silver medal winning team in Swift Current.
Into the top 8.
And our third player for Korea, Kyung-ai Kim, just 23.
Kyung-ai has by far the best nickname on the team. Her nickname is Steak. And she's really the spark plug. I mean, all 4 Korean players are outstanding, but when Kyung-ai is on fire, look out.
A great weapon to have in your team for sure. I'm sure we'll see some sparks flying from her a little bit later on.
Pretty conservative play by the Koreans here in the first. Very content to peel guards rather than to try and go around them. And Jung Kim not biting on the temptation of those short guards.
So then on to our skip stones. And Japanese skip first of all, Satsuki Fujisawa.
And we've talked about the Korean team's participation in the Winter Olympics, and we mustn't forget that this Japanese team will also be representing their country at the Winter Olympics. Team Fujisawa are the Japanese representatives in Pyeongchang.
Already have quite a few medals in their cabinet. Silver at the Women's Worlds. Bronze in this one last time round. Always there or thereabouts at the Pacifics.
Yes, very strong team. Haven't really dominated on the tour this year, but even though every match and every tournament is important in an Olympic year, there's really only one event that you're trying to peak for. That is, of course, the Olympics.
So our first look at Young Kim, Korean skip. Very elegant looking curler. Seven years with this team. And there's this one going to finish.
That one over curls, so she did bite on the offer of the guard and had to go herself, but it over curls, crashes. So great chance here for Japan now to duck one around and get a fourth and maybe a steal.
Having a good close look at that as she wandered past, thinking,
Teams do get a chance to practice on the ice before the match, but we've seen a number of teams be surprised by how much the draws really finish hard. And if you don't sweep it early, you can be in real trouble.
Second zone for Fujisawa.
Well by the guard. I'd like to keep it in front of the tee line. That is perfect. Great shot from Satsuki Fujisawa.
She'll have learned a little bit from her previous stone, but really in the first end it's still quite tricky to place them, isn't it, before you've got
That's a great shot.
yourself together. There we go.
Yeah, just drills it right on the front of the lid, perfectly behind both guards, and so no choice now for Young Kim but to try and pick it out or follow it down. But tell you what, looks to me like she must be trying to run back that center yellow stone to try and double them off. It's about all she's got.
So a bit of a testing shot early on in this game for sure.
Not the shot you want to be throwing in the first end of the game, that's for sure.
And here we go, last stone of the first. She's certainly talented enough to make this. She's got the measure of the ice. It's looking quite good.
Oh my goodness, will it get out of the rings? Spin, spin, spin.
And is it?
Oh, it stayed in the ring, so close to a perfect shot.
Absolutely beautiful effort there from the Korean skip, but not quite there. What a treat in the first end.
It'll be a score of 1 to Japan.
There we go. After the first end.
근데 이쪽이 많이 뻗어서 나는 그게 그렇게 나왔어.
You're watching live coverage from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. We're in Erina, New South Wales, Australia. I'm Alison Walker, bringing you live commentary alongside me, Hans Fraunlob. Whole game. This is our featured game. It's Korea against Japan. And I think we're in for some good action if the first end is anything to go by. Two of the top women's teams in this part of the world, and indeed in the world.
Yeah, we saw the Koreans play the first part of the end pretty conservatively, running guards, and then on her first attempt, Young Kim said, all right, I'll have a go. Tried to duck one around the center guard, crashed it. Fujisawa made a fantastic come around, drilled the front of the lid, and then Young Kim almost made a equally fantastic run back double attempt, but the stone just stayed on the rings, and it was a steal to Japan. So conservative first part of the end, but yeah, turned into fireworks right at the end.
It did. It was good stuff from both teams. But Japan with the upper hand going into the second end.
Just by that guard. And look at the finish. Curls right behind that center guard. Well, at least 2/3 buried anyways.
I think we can still see a fair bit of it from the other end.
Here's Eureka.
Such a happy team. Absolutely love what they do, don't they?
They sure do. Well, you're in Australia, you're curling, you know. What's there to be upset about? Here's Youngmi. Rounding out the nicknames for the Korean team, her nickname is Pancake.
So I guess it's their favourite food, and they chose the name from that. That's the story.
That's the story. They're sticking to it.
I don't know what I'd... God, so many foods I like. I don't know what I'd choose.
This is obviously a breakfast-oriented team, although...
Most important meal of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
The benches behind, you can see from both teams watching on. Analysing every shot, every move of these sets of players.
Oh, they managed that one really nicely. Goes across the face, pokes it through the back of the house, and flops behind the guard.
Nice little roll there. There's the Japanese coach, James Lind. Worked with this team for a few years now.
And bundled up alternate player Yumi Suzuki beside him.
Here we go from one extreme to the other here. Very warm outside and into this cold arena. Red extremes.
Just blowing it by that stone in the top 8, trying to get a bit of action, but not quite. Korea won't be too disappointed, though. They move that guard off the center line, and now there's corner guards for them to use themselves. They've got the hammer.
Attempting to replace that guard.
Nicely done.
Over to the Korean bench, and that's Young Kim, the coach, watching intently.
Korean alternate Kim Cho-hee marking the stones, and other Korean coach Peter Gallant taking notes. So lots of analysis happening on the bench of Team Korea.
You can see the clock behind there. Both teams do have to be aware of time.
This time they get the action. Oh! Shades of the first end.
That was a whisper pass there. If you could measure a whisper.
Yeah. That looked like a whisper to me, Allison.
4号かあれだ7番で持ってっちゃっていいフィニッシュはあるわ
A bit of danger building now for Team Korea. They've got the hammer, but there's 2 Japanese stones in the rings. For Chinami Yoshida.
もうちょい取ってもいいちょっとねストレートになってきてるよ
Each player has their own build up, their delivery, their process they go through before they release the stone.
ちょっと待ってこう
All very slightly different.
待って待ってないあとあるよちょっと吐きたいけどおでいよ今で4号いいよ曲がってきた
Like this one, just full in the 8 foot behind those guards.
Coming round now, isn't it?
Nice shot.
The placement in these ones is really very, very good at the moment.
ウエイトあったからキープしたけどちょっとね柔らかくなっちゃったんだよね。
ああ。いいねいい番。
Hun Young just describing where the contact point she'd like to be. Going to drive that red rut center rock back and try to get some action on at least one of those Japanese stones. And if the angles are right, maybe more than one. Got that action. Maybe hoping for a little inside roll as well, but better than it was.
Moved a tiny bit, but not a huge amount.
What that does do though, is it not only opens up the center, but because they left their rock shot, Japan has to deal with it. Noses it. And Japan lies 3. So good chance here for the Koreans to remove both of these Japanese stones. Just trying to hit the leftmost rock first, but really just try to hit it right in the middle of those 2 stones.
Looks a fairly straightforward shot, this, especially for a player of her caliber. Let's see. Away they go.
Yeah, double takeout. Very nicely done. Kyung-Ae Kim. So Korea will be breathing a little easier. That was looking a little sketchy there for a while, but we're not out of the woods yet. But they do have last rock.
So looking for a little hit and roll here. Behind some protection.
Very nicely done. Nice hit and roll there from Satsuki Fujisawa.
Yep, team are pretty happy with that one.
あ、結構あるか。
여기? 너무 작을라나? 들어갈까요? 고. 낙하석 티! 7이야. 6, 7. 거의 딱 스물라면 7까지는 달린 가야 될 것 같아. 아, 근데 아까
좀 릴리즈 있어야 될 것 같아.
크게 약하게 안 차도 될 것 같긴 한데.
네. 좀 세게 차고 기다리게 나.
9? 네.
Communication all important here.
Sweeping error. Sorry, that was a bad mistake. They saw that happen a couple of times in our afternoon game today as well, Allison. That talked earlier about the stones are always going to curl on the draw, and they think they've got tons of room, and they back off, and then there's a big late finish, and you feather the guard like that, and all of a sudden you go from a chance to potentially scoring 2 or 3 here, and now you've just made trouble for yourselves, and that's just unfortunately bad execution on the sweep read.
All that could have been avoided, is what you're saying. If
Absolutely. Fujisawa would love to get the inside roll just like her first shot.
Well, she's been making them, hasn't she? She's presented too much trouble here.
No, pokes it past the back one. That was surgically done.
I love her reactions. Very expressive faces. 3 yellows in there, though.
Had it all the way, Satsuki.
Ideally, a bit more separation. She would have wanted a bit further roll over to the other side. But hey.
The primary job is done. You've forced the Koreans to at least take one, and it's not an easy one either. We think she can nose hit the shot rock and still score 1, but not too much room for error there. For safety's sake, a little inside roll just to secure the 1. There's a stone at the back of the 8-foot as well.
So last stone of the second end. Skip facing 3 yellows. Needs to make sure of her 1 point here. 1 stone and red in the middle.
Oh, nicely done for Team Korea. Good communications that time.
Yep, well played. And the Korean skip. Securing that 1 point. 2 ends played now. And this is our featured game. And we're level. Korea 1, Japan 1.
새 타이트하게. 1번? 타이트하게 와줘. 라인아 계속 와야 돼. 계속 와줘. 라인 괜찮아. 그냥 라인 좋아. 웨이트만.
So end number 3, and I think Japan will be a little bit happier with the way things are going at the moment than Korea, although very, very early days in this game.
It is. I agree, Allison. Japan's probably had the stronger start. But again, making the comparison to this afternoon's game where the Korean men, if you were with us earlier today, had a game against China, and it looked like Korea had all the running right through the game, and China just kept hanging on and wound up stealing the victory. So sometimes if you just keep yourself in games.
Yeah, just keep hanging on in there. It can happen.
Absolutely.
It looks unlikely, and that one did look unlikely. But it still happened.
But, yep, very early days in this one. We'll play 10 ends tonight, scheduled. The teams have to play a minimum of 6, but lots of playing time yet. Trying to keep some separation between their guards so they can't be doubled off so easily. Japan electing to go right onto the attack. This is going to be entertaining, folks. Japan's got the hammer. Korea's got 2 center guards up. And Satsuki Fujisawa says, let's play.
And Japan will be looking for a decent number in this end.
Right behind those guards. So now, when Young Kim, having set those guards, is now going to have to think about moving them. Looking at the angles, she's thinking, can I double run them and drive them onto the stones in the house? It's a bit demoralizing. You set the end up, the center guards with the intent of using them, and now you have to destroy what you've created.
Adjust your plans after every shot, in other words.
Absolutely. It's a bit of action, but not quite enough to push it into the rings, but maybe a stone they can use later in the end. Nice shot there.
Yeah, not the worst outcome.
No, very good outcome for Sun Young.
スピリットまではしなくていいか。
いやしてみてもいいと思うけど
ねえ。バックラインぐらいで。オッケー。
90ぐらい
オッケー。ちょっと重たいと思うな。重いね。
ジャストバックラインよりあった方がいい。
あった方がいい
Quite
と思う。
see the final call, but it looks like they might be trying a split. They might try to just glance off that stone on the center line with their own rock, redirect behind the corner guard, and get some separation between all 3 stones potentially. Back line waits, so they're definitely trying a split. Pushing it almost straight back. They like 3.
What was the thinking with that shot, Hans?
Well, I think they were just trying to get some separation between all 3 stones there, Allison. They probably would have liked that to curl up another half rock and get a bit of sideways motion as opposed to straight front and back. Problem when the rocks are clustered together like the top 2 are now, they're easier for the opponents to make a double takeout.
Yep, they're vulnerable. There we go. Just what we thought. Away they go.
Okay.
So the end really turning on a couple of shots there.
And as a bonus for Team Korea, as we take a look at the replay, caught it pretty thick, but enough action to spill the shooter out. And as a bonus, roll half behind that corner guard as well.
9やりすぎか。
9でもいいと思う。行ってみよう。メイトいいね。
ちょっと絞ってるよ。
最後重そうだよ。
ちょっとないよ。あざそうに見える。ない
ない曲がってる曲がってる曲がってる。
Suki comes out to join the party on the brushing. Really want to get a piece of the rings if they can.
Working very, very hard.
Yes, and all the work is rewarded. They do get it on the rings and maybe even second shot.
And there is just one of the benefits. Good sweeping.
No, absolutely.
이거?
It's a bit of a cliche, but you know, sometimes the cliches are there for a reason, and you say sometimes the shots are made in the gym. You know, and that one was made in the gym. Great brushing by the entire team.
2.
Yeah, top off. Got the heat generated there.
Yep. So Yumi Suzuki all bundled up, but Chinami certainly warmed up now. Looking for a little roll, and they get it. Very nicely done. Behind the tee line, but
차는 것도 그렇게 세진 건
at least partly undercover. Kyung-hae. Very nicely played. There's the roll. Almost fully buried. Very nicely done.
보이는 줄 알았어.
야, 같이.
근데 저피 뒤라가지고.
ビーでちょっと押してもいいもんね。
こっちも重い
うん。
よね。
重たそうだな。重そうこっち使ってないよ。
旧エクステンションもなかったよね、マリね。
Japan now forced into trying a corner freeze. They'll just try to sit their own stone in front of that Korean shot rock.
Yeah, so Japan being reactive now rather than proactive.
ふわっと離した。67。はいよ。ライン見てね。はい、78。めていいよ。
Yeah, now it's time to shift gears and try to figure out another way to score two.
7。
Good looking line.
おおおおお。
Don't want it to bump though. Slight oversweep. Pretty good shot though.
ちょっと蹴りすぎて伸ばせなかった。
And you can see the angles. It's probably 3/4 available. That small little bump just slightly unlocks the backstone, so it might be possible for Kyung-hae Kim to play maybe a hack weight and push it through the rings and not jam on her own.
왼쪽 있어요. 파이팅! 파이팅!
Oh, that is a beauty. Great, great shot there from Kyung-hae Kim.
It was very close to that guard. Or that one on the top of the 12-foot, that red one. She enjoyed that. Let's take another look.
Kyung-hae is thinking, I could have even gotten closer to that guard.
Good. Really, really nice shot. Never in doubt.
She is such a fierce competitor. I really enjoy her play.
A difficult shot, well executed.
Still a good chance here for Japan, though, to generate a pair because those stones are at the tee line or behind. This one looks like it may be over curling, though. Yep, it is crashing
It is
that
going
guard.
to catch it, yep. First real mistake we've seen them make, Team Japan.
근데 나 더 될 줄 알았는데.
Yeah, that one never really had a chance. Maybe just a bit of a soft release on that in turn for Chinami Yoshida.
여기까지 나와도 이쪽으로.
Conversely, great chance now for the Koreans to shift gears and go for the steal.
이렇게만 막으면 되긴 한데. 근데 약간 이렇게까지는 나쁘지 않아.
잘할 거. 몇 초 남았어.
They're lying two. Red Rocks belong to Korea.
4구요. 근데 릴리즈 좀 약했지 않아?
네. 센터 쪽이
뭔가
맞긴 해.
느낌이 약했어. 1 할까? 1?
조금 센터 쪽으로 가긴 가야 되는데. 새까진 가야 되죠. 생각보다 좀 많이 괜찮았어. 그렇다 돌아가 싶었어.
이거 좀 끝에 돌지 않아?
그래도 그렇게 많이 도는 건 아닌 것 같아. 라이트 자체가 그런 건지.
051 할까, 선영아?
네, 051. 051.
좀 살렸어.
아이,
괜찮아.
정말 좋아. 괜찮네.
너무 많이 살렸어.
셋. 셋. 언니.
아니야.
라인 선율. 라인 선율. 라인 선율.
Nice shot. So even though it's early in the game, quite an important shot coming up now for Setsuka Fujisawa. She can corner freeze right where Chinami Yoshida's got her brush. That's where they'd like the stone to come to rest. But there's really no tolerance for error at all in terms of weight or line on this shot. You've got to throw it right there, otherwise it's not great.
조금 보는 아이스 아닌데 맞죠?
This all really stems from that shot by the Korean third.
That's right. Kyung-ae made that really nice, delicate hack weight shot. Well clear of the guard. Yeah, perfect weight, just again, the game of inches. That needed to curl another half a rock, and that is perfect. But because it's sat beside the shot as opposed to in front of the shot, Eun-young Kim can still make a pass at it and hit it and remove it from play.
And that's what she's looking at.
She can't throw big weight at it. Probably similar kind of weight.
키를 모르겠긴 한데 아예 인컬로 들어가면은 아예 안 돌진 않는 것 같아. 얘 것도 근데 돌면서는
좀 잡아가야지 도는 것 같잖아요.
좀콜 잘해야 될 것 같아.
Yeah, just firming up the weight there.
그리고 또 끝에 대서는 별로 안 돌아. 경희 것도 끝에 대서는 별로 안 돌아.
Be about hack weight.
6. 웨이트 좋아. 웨이트 굿. 웨이트 좋아. 웨이트 좋아. 웨이트 좋아. 웨이트 좋아. 영면이 좀만.
How's it looking?
She's got a piece. How much? Pushes the stone back of the forefoot. Importantly, pushes it back into third shot position. So they got a little bit of a break there. Could have been worse if she would have
She's
left
not
Japan
happy.
lying second shot. Yeah, but she did want that to curl definitely another quarter of a rock. It's not a bad result, but it's a flat across the forefoot double to try and score more than one for Japan. You see the red rocks are the Korean stones.
Tricky shot for Fujisawa.
It's very flat, so she's going to have to throw it pretty hard if she wants to get two. She's looking at the stone there in the back of the 8-foot, and she might get a little action on the back red stone and actually come forward a little bit and push that red shot. We'll see. It would jam, though, if that happened. First job is to score.
So important last stone of this third end. Let's see what they can come up with.
Not laying a brush to it. Well, hits and rolls away, so that's a steal.
Oh dear. That definitely wasn't what they were after. Disappointing shot from Fujisawa. That is a steal for Korea. They played their end really well indeed. And they've taken the lead in this game. After 3, Korea 2, Japan 1.
내 거에 비해서 너무 많이 도는 것 같은데? 지금 백인데도 거의 초반에 거의 그냥 가다가 끝에 네가 스위치해서
같은데 이거는. 이거 몇 번이었어요?
You're watching live coverage of Korea against Japan from the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. This is our featured game from the Erina Ice Arena in New South Wales, Australia. And the score, as you can see, Korea 2, Japan 1 into this fourth end. Hope you're enjoying the action. We've had some really nice play in these first 3 ends or so. These two teams very well matched. Lead player, a good game, Youngmin Kim, 82%. She had the shot of the end in the third. Let's set up that steal for Korea.
Yeah, Fujisawa gambling a little bit on her last shot there in the third to try and make the flat double to try and score 2, but a little bit wide, and call that a no-risk steal for the Koreans.
Two of the more experienced teams in this part of the world, these two playing together sometime. Been in big games, won medals. That has to be replaced.
Free guard zone rule. If you're new to our sport, first 4 stones of the end, you're not allowed to remove an opponent's stone from play. If you do, that stone gets replaced, and that's exactly what happened just then. Now that 4 rocks have been played, it's open slather, so Young Kim can absolutely now hit the guard.
Sung Kong Kim, 83%. Korean second, so good numbers from her too. Job done.
없어지는 것도 괜찮은 것 같아. 노멀인 줄 알았어. 노멀은 상관없는데 틀린 거.
And Mari Motohashi, also 83%, so playing at a very high standard in this game. Hold off, she says.
Good Russian.
1사 나왔는데 괜찮은 것 같아. 몇 초예요? 1사. 1사. 나쁘지 않은 것 같아. 좀 턴 치면서 턴 많은데 아주 큰 거. 생각보다 아이폰 탔어.
An idea of the sweeping. On off, looking where they're going, guided. Watching the line, watching the line.
Full 8 foot for shot. Quite behind the cover though.
키스 턴. 일로 할까? 1사. 2까지 괜찮을 것 같아. 2.
Oh, look at that, 92%. Those first 3 ends. Good stuff from Kyung-hee Kim.
This one's really moving, though. Are they by? Oh, just. This one where you thank your teammate?
웨이트는 1사지.
They are spread apart too. Those 2 reds. So they're more difficult to get together. Yoshida 71%. Plenty of time to make it up, but a bit lower than her teammates.
すぐ早いあるよ10今で10止まる
Can be just one shot that can bring down your stats like that. And then just one shot that can bring them right back up again. This one is looking a little bit heavy.
Yep. Deep in the rings. Not quite through the rings, but yeah, definitely not plan A for Chinami. So Japan just struggling a bit to get things going, and we talked off the top, Allison, that uncharacteristically, these teams at 3-3 at this point in the tournament, they are playing a double round robin, so 10 games in the round robin phase of this championship. But if you would have said to me at the start that Setsuki Fujisawa at this point in the tournament would be at 3-3 and at risk of, if they lost this game, to dropping to 3-4, I would have said, really?
Yep. With their pedigree, their experience. So key game for them, Team Japan, this one. And it would also give them, if they were lacking a little bit of confidence going forward, should they see off this very, very good Korean team.
Oh, no doubt.
They seem to be stepping it up in this last couple of ends.
Yeah, very nice shot there. That one is behind cover and in a very good location. So let's see if Chinami Yoshida can recover from that deep draw in the last one. Gonna push back the shot rock. That's pretty good. Even though they leave the Korean shot, they're behind cover themselves. But Allison, I was speaking earlier how the first time I saw this Team Kim was at the Pacific Asia Championships in 2014. And the thing that struck me immediately was how fearless they were. They would just play aggressive shot after aggressive shot after aggressive shot, backing themselves, and it just made me think about it now, that the shot that Onyoung is calling, saying, okay, I'm just going to go right in there.
They always say, if you're not confident, you shouldn't be doing it, so she must be confident.
No doubt. Now this one's over curling though. So does that open the door for Japan?
What went wrong there?
Hard to say. I mean, that one never really had a chance.
They get out the starting blocks at all.
So the red stones belong to Korea. They're line 1.
So again, Japan have had to adjust. what they were thinking. They possibly thought she might have been a bit closer than that. %, Fujisawa. This game, which is good going. So that, and that last end, not quite making that shot.
Need to get by that guard in the top 8 foot. Have they? Just feather it. Perfect weight, though. Just clipped it.
They were very aware of it and were trying hard.
Yeah, they went coast to coast on that one. Yuruki Yoshida, very fit. She does a lot of the heavy lifting for Team Japan on the brushing. Marimoto Hashi contributing as well.
So after each stone, adjustments required.
Good chance here for the Koreans to hit and just maybe get a tiny half rock roll to the left as we're looking at it.
이거 약간 들어오고 여기
Line cover.
잡고 릴리 살짝 주긴 잘
퍼풋이
줬는데
조금 많이 도는 것 같아요.
근데 들어와서만 돌고 초반에는 좀 많이 뻗어오긴 뻗어왔어. 여기까지.
여기?
응. 너무 작나? 컨트롤이 한 개 정도 잡고 하면은.
미리 닦아올게요.
아. 좀 마지막 샷을 닦아가서 가는 게 나은 것 같긴 해.
안으로만 맞으면 되는데.
핵.
Again, just locking in the weight that they want to throw.
살짝 안으로 맞으면 돼요.
They're definitely going to make a pass at the shot rock.
이쪽 끝에 좀 돌더라. 5번.
So let's see what she can do with this one. That shot brought down her previous shot brought down her stats to 58%.
So no inside roll, but they do remove the
웨이트 세? 얼만데?
Japanese shot.
에이씨.
So how many red counters do we have there?
웨이트 못 들었어. 죄송해요.
나도 웨이트 못 들었어.
Starting to look mighty crowded around the scoring area.
ちょっとかぶってるよ
10とかか。
どうすればいいのね
Players at the hack end saying you can probably see 2/3 of it, Satsuki, so if you want to try the double, you probably can. That would give them a chance to score 2. Bit risky, though.
これさノースになってもさワンにはならないか
But to be honest, Allison, there aren't too many other good options.
なるっぽいかいダメっちゃうとダメだよ
Just looking at the angles.
B でさ必ずさワンにはなりたいじゃん
That's the
Well,
contact
what
point.
else? Yeah, if she didn't do that, what else is there?
Well, you could come right around on the outturn side around the whole pile and try and draw to the 4 foot, but you have to go quite wide on the sheet. And that's probably about the only other makeable option. This is definitely the only option that would get you 2, however.
じゃあ相手今11ぐらいだよね OK
Still looking at the angles there.
9後半がベスト9後半なら大丈夫
Just off the nose to the right-hand side as we're looking from her
ちょい取
overhead.
れるうんちょっと失速あると思う大丈夫かまだそんな
Last one of end number 4. Important shot for Japan and Fujisawa. See how the line is.
No, not even close. Not even close. Crashes the front center guard. My goodness. And it's a steal of 2.
Disappointing for Japan, but what a bonus there for Korea. And a setback for Team Japan. Oh, another 2 behind. After 4 ends, Korea 4, Japan 1.
相手のここすごかったね。
ね
계속 던지던 거지, 첫 번째.
네, 여기 많이 죽는 것 같아요. 6번 더 높이는 게 나을 것 같아요. 어? 더 높이는 게 나을 것 같아, 6번. 몇 나왔어? 9번 나온 것 같은데. 근데 6번 첫 번째 던질 때가 약간 조금 잡았다가 뭔가.
そうだな。やっ、ちょっと曲がってるよ。
Well, after that
いいよ。
uncharacteristic miss from Setsuki Fujisawa, let's see what the Japanese can do here in the fifth.
Yep, still time for them to build an end. But Korea will certainly take that
Oh,
and run with it if they can.
yeah.
Huge boost for them the last couple of ends.
Yeah, we said off the top that they're not only the defending Pacific Asia champions, but they've looked the part in this tournament. They've been rolling along, and after a little bit of speed wobble in the very, very early going of this game, as you said, Allison, they've just been lifting and lifting in confidence and execution.
And this looks like another tasty placement.
Indeed. Pancakes for breakfast.
많이 죽어? 많이 죽어? 네, 소감은 많이 죽은 것 같아. 이번엔 센것 같았는데. 멋지.
And they can make it look so easy as well.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah. So important for the lead players if you're going to make that come around to keep the stone in front of the tee line, and that one 2/3 buried in the front 8 foot. Very nicely done. And this one looks like it's just going to steam past it and into the hack.
And we know this Japan team can play. We know how good they are. But they're going through a bit of a bad patch at the moment.
They are.
근데 아까 좀 많이 살리긴 했어요.
And Young Kim says, okay, we're up 3 now. Not really interested in the corner guard, so she's going to try and eliminate it. And she's going to get a bit of action on her own as a bonus.
돌고는 있어서.
And Young Kim didn't really want that to happen, but it's not that bad.
돌고 있는데 경에 딱 보면은
선영.
왼쪽 붙을 것 같은데 근데 생각보다
바깥쪽이었어. 좀만 더 돌지.
저기 남은 거야? 네?
Just one shot here can change things again. Just one placement, one piece of accuracy, whatever you'd like to call it, can change momentum.
Yeah, and it sounds bizarre to say it. I agree, Allison. And you want the advantage of last rock, but sometimes we say the hammer's a curse. You just want to get rid of it. So I agree. I think it's just important for Japan to score, reset, and see if they can do something in the second half of this contest. There's a small break for the Japanese. Attempted clear.
And you know, that's the other thing, Hans. You know, your opponents might not just be 100% perfect all the time, and that got to be ready to take advantage of that little window, however small it might be.
That's right. You're only down 3. Score 2 here. You're right back in the game. Don't need to get them all back at once.
Although that would be nice, I guess, if you're
You wouldn't
in their
complain.
position.
If you got them all back at once, that's a bonus. See how much that stone curled. It almost hit that stone on the center line in the 8 foot. Look where it ended up. We get a great look at it here on the replay. Watch this rock. Watch how close it comes to that red stone.
Oh my goodness, I think that's the closest we've seen all week.
And it curls another rock width before it comes to rest. Fantastic.
No wonder she went, ooh. Similar line. Away it goes and rolls.
3육 나왔어. 3육. 근데 이번 릴리즈 너무 좋았잖아. 잘했어. 조금 셌는데 생각 많이 들었어.
でも微妙だな。いやでも待ってよ、3ダウンでしょ。ああ、まだ押しても悪くないけど。そうだね、それもあるね。縦に押しちゃダメかな。縦でもいいよ。オッケー。縦か、こっちか。ね、オッケー。バックラインね、ちなみにさっきやったバックラインでいこうかな。ショートになるよりはちゃんと仕切っちゃっていいかな。
Well, they get a little bit of an outside roll, but the challenge for Japan, you should have got the roll. Yeah, Won Young Kim is just making my point. She says, we're third shot.
내까지 들어가는 거?
약간 뒤에 있어.
언니 내가 알면은 이거 코너 가드 치는 거 별로예요? 코너 가드? 맞고 이렇게 가버리면 좀 별로일 것 같은데. 지금 네 거에서 타이트하게 여기까지 오고 그럼 얘들은 너 백을 때 하지 않을까? 별로?
이걸 치면은
그냥 걔를?
별로일까? 와봐.
타이트 아니면 차라리 가드 깨는 게 나을 것 같긴 한데 근데 지금 야들은 3개가 이겼는데
만약에 이거 치면은
그리고 하나
이걸
스테이
깨지면 야들한테
해놓으면
도움 되는 것 같긴 해.
별로일 것
맞죠?
같아. 봐봐.
여기
둘이서
이거
바꿔
같은데,
서면
아니야?
얘 나는 이것도 못하고 이거 그냥 이것밖에 못해.
네.
그러니까 차라리 타이트하게 여기까지 들어와도 되니까
한
여기까지
넷?
들어오는 게 나을 것 같아.
여기까지만 딱 돼. 여기
일단 라인.
괜찮을 것 같아.
거기가 제일.
살짝 이쪽도 괜찮을 것 같아요. 너무 오버칼보다는. 방금처럼 여기 어차피 아직 수비에 있어 같긴 한데.
I think that was a good contribution from Sun Young coming down the ice, because for a while there they were talking about playing back line weight at the shot rock and maybe splitting it, and I think that would have just set up an opportunity for Japan. Looks to me like they've settled on throwing a stone just in front of the 12-foot,
약간 오버칼처럼.
in front of the shot stone and second shot.
이쪽으로. 네. 9구발.
Can't leave it long, and you don't want it too deep either, but it's one of these situations where you sort of run out of good places to put stones.
Surely it's safety first then if you feel you're in that kind of position.
Yeah, you don't want to overthink it. You're lying 2 already. You're actually lying 3. Guard your shot.
Preserve
Make your
what you
opponent,
have.
make your opponent make the shot. Don't make it a shot for your opponent. That one's slightly over curling though. So, shot rock is available for Team Japan.
Yep, those two reds, as you can see, are vulnerable.
나쁘지 않은데.
이거 확실히 유리投げたラインか。滑ってたんだよね。これユリ投げたラインだよね。
So actually, after all that chat, that shot really didn't do the job, did it?
No, afraid not. Guard was the right call. I think that was the right call, but just over curled quite a lot.
いやバックライン。ブレーキ遅いからね。バックラインスイープバックライン。おークリー。いやバックラインスイープバックライン。しっかりあるよ。バックライン。ヤッ。おークリー。ヤッヤッヤッヤッ。おーおーおーヤッヤッヤッヤッ。
Looking Looking for a little inside roll. Pretty good shot. Might have been better just to let it hit them on the nose and give themselves a little bit better backing. Problem for Japan, the way these are angled. It's a little easier for Eun Kim to just pick it out.
약간 바운스까지 괜찮은데 일단 라인이 맞아야 돼.
See by the ice that she's taking that won't be an awful lot of weight on this shot.
웨이트 좋아.
웨이트 좋아. 여덟. 여덟 안 돼. 일곱 여덟. 일곱. 웨이트만. 여덟. 여기 웨이트 가야 돼. 언니야. 라인 딱 맞춰야 돼.
Keep coming round now.
소리.
죽나?
어머머머. 나 왜 이렇게 나가? 다 있어.
다 있어?
끝에서 많이 죽는
Little
거.
collision there on the stone at the back.
너무 라인이 안 들어왔어.
Not sure if that was plan A all the way along or not, Allison. There was an awful lot of ice, and I thought when the brush went down, I thought, that's a lot of ice for a bump, but maybe she was just going to play the
Play it
straight short into the top 8 and say, okay, you can have your one. We'll give you a force, but that's it.
厳しいか。
マジか。
ねでもスリーダウン
Can
だ。
Fujisawa get anything else out of this?
I think she can. There's definitely
あるね。
definitely some options.
いいかも。いや多分3点と思う。これ。
ハックぐらいもうちょい必要い
いやハックでいいかな。通るかな。い
や通りをすると思う
けるかい。
ハックぐらい
はい。当たるんだったらこっちだね。こっちのストーンだね。
そうねいかにね4にどのタイミングで入るかだけど結構
ここを通すの？
Could come all the way around the pile in the outturn and bump
これは
yellow.
これは多分無理だと思うけど。こっちから行かないかい。
Could come in turn and make a play
今やっちゃう
on
ね
the
やっちゃうかい。
今やってもいいか
second shot at the
シューター大切にしたいけどね。
back of the button.
こっちからだったらまだいいけど、こっちは無理だと思うな。
俺行くんだったらさ
これさちょっと押せればいいと思うんだ。
結構ギリギリだね
あ、これパンパンや。
Japan's got the last rock.
行くなら。そっか。
They're already lying one.
外はちょっと
ならトップだね。
これかわしたら多分そのセンター
どっちかには当たる。
やっても変わんない相手これ
안쪽으로
あるもん
도는 게 그래서 가드는 아예 센터 가드 치려면 중간?
ねどうやって取ったらいいんだ。
중간 잡아야
前半巻いてる。
센터 가드.
フロント巻いてる。確かに。フロントは常に時間ないから。喋りながら。これでこれ。
いやでもガードするところでガードされるよそしたら何する
最後これ。か力いくか。これもね。
いやでも行かないか
その後だとね、これぐらいはこれぐらい被ってるぐらい。やってみちゃうか。
What about a bump onto the red and
Well, that is an option, but it's a dangerous one. You're pushing your opponent's stone toward your shot rock. We talked at the beginning of the end about how it was really important for Japan to score in this end. They've got no momentum at all.
2点でいいんじゃない？もう少しチャンスあるのかな。
Kind of got one salted away right now, although it's a very threatening rock that Eun Kim has put there. She's obviously done that with the intention of trying to use it on her second shot. You see the time ticking away. That's the thinking time that the players have, and Coach J.D. Lind with the binoculars trying to suss out what's happening at the other end.
9半ぐらいかい。
いや9秒ぐらい欲しいな
オッケー。
今ちょうど2フットの降りるとこだもんね
9より速くなんない方がいいかな。シューター欲しいから。B でこっちの赤の前割るかな。
So, after all the discussion, it looks to me like she's going to try and run that port between the two red rocks, drive the yellow stone onto the red stone, and then get some action into the forefoot.
9前半。
Bit of a pinball shot.
9前半。
Well, she's through the port. Just had to catch that one a little thicker to get a bit better action, but
do you know it was a decent effort, wasn't it?
that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah.
threading the needle.
준아 왜 뚜이? 왜 뚜이요?
잘할 것 같지 않아?
She's thinking, I'd like to try and throw that again. I bet I could make it.
그거 치면 더블 돼?
어?
그거 치면
더블은
할수
안
있어?
돼.
더블 안 돼. 롤만 있어, 롤.
아. 아니 만약 가드는?
근데 가드에다가 이거
너무 위험한 거
이게
아니야?
치면
여기 가드.
아니? 이건 너무 위험한가?
아니, 여기 치면은
아예 다.
근데 저게 좀 불안하게.
근데 우리 거긴 한데 앞에 빨간색.
약간 애매하긴 해.
근데 우리가 여기 맞잖아요.
만약에 이렇게 거의 정타로 치면은 빨간색만 다 나갈 것 같지 않아?
When Young Kim looking to come down through that same port, trying to navigate through those two red stones, hit the yellow and roll towards the button area.
이거밖에 없잖아. 근데 어려워. 근데 해도 이 점은 저는
She could try to promote the stone that she just threw, but again, there's some risk,
가드도 괜찮을 것 같은데.
여기 가드?
그게 낫지 않아?
especially now with that Japanese stone on the edge of the floor.
할 수 있는 방법이 없는데.
이거 치고 빨간색만 빠질 수 있어? 요 앞에.
앞에 거?
잘
근데
때리면은
뒤에 거 안
남고.
나가요? 뒤에 게 어디
삼점
있어요?
그렇게 하면
뒤에
딱
게
붙어
있어.
있어.
붙어 있어. 아니 그 뒤에 거.
아, 그 뒤에 거 열려 있어.
근데 완전 딱 안쪽으로 맞아서 더블이 돼요.
그거 정타 맞으면 뒤에 거보다 이기나? 제일 뒤에 거. 이길 것 같아.
그냥 여기 가드 치자 여기 가드.
좋아요. 여기.
아, 많이 잡아야 될 것
여기는 최악의
같은데.
3점까지 나올 수 있을 것 같아.
네.
그러면 차라리.
Well, sometimes if you can't think of anything else to do, just throw a guard. So,
That was the same in the last shot as well.
왜 좋아?
왜 좋아 셋. 권영이. 셋. 또 위로 가.
from the Korean point of view, you have to keep reminding yourself we're up 3. Really sweeping it. They didn't want to leave a hole for Fujisawa to try and come through and rattle stones around.
자가 뻗는 것 같고 야가 뻗는 것 같기도 하고. 야가 이상한 거야.
라인이 근데 아까 전에보다 많이 잡아서 그런 거 아니야?
잘했어. 아예 많이 잡긴 잘했어 근데.
그러니까. 근데 이 라인이 뻗을 수도 있잖아. 제일 끝에.
완전 끝이라서.
방금 릴리 좀 좋은 것 같은데. 릴리 좋았어. 방금 릴리 좋았어.
Well, once again, Fujisawa is trying a very flat jump shot almost to try and hit and roll off her own shot and try to get a second point.
To try and get rid of that other red right at the centre. It's such a narrow port. Here we go. Off that yellow. In it comes.
Oh, that's a great shot from Satsuki Fujisawa. Do they get their second point?
Well, they certainly deserve it. What do we think?
Well, they're kicking it off, and they didn't take a very long look at it. So to me, that looks like a score of 2. Fantastic
What
shot.
a superb effort. Look at this down this narrow channel. My goodness. Off her other yellow. In it comes. Fantastic.
Am I by the guard? Am I by the guard? I'm by the guard. That's a great shot.
No wonder they're smiling after 5 ends now. They're right back in it. Korea 4, Japan 3 as they head into the break. And a pat on the shoulder from the coach there.
highlights from Korea versus Japan. Satsuki Fujisawa trying a flat double to try and score 2, but wide. Hits and rolls away, and it's a steal for Korea. And they go out to a 2-1 lead after 3. In the fourth. Takeout attempt here for Japan's Fujisawa, but it overcurls and she wrecks on the front guard, so another steal for the Koreans. Holding a 4-1 lead. And in the fifth, look at all the rocks in play. And a brave shot here from Satsuki Fujisawa, threading the needle through the guards, hitting her own stone, rolling across into the button for a score of 2. Clutch shot there from Japan. They needed it. They're back in this one. It's 4-3. And there we have a look at the team stats halfway through this 10-end contest, and not too much to pick in terms of team shooting percentages, but the bottom statistic is the one that you really want to zero in on, and that's stolen points. The Koreans have stolen 3 points. That means when you score without last rock. The Japanese have stolen 1 point. They stole a point in the first end of the game. So that's really the difference now, and Korea is holding a 4-3 lead as we get play underway here on end number 6 here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. And Allison, that well, 2 great shots really from Satsuki Fujisawa in the fifth end. We talked about them needing a bit of a change of momentum, and those are the kinds of shots that can really turn a game around for a team.
Yeah, what a different frame of mind to go into the break. But I do think both coaches would be reasonably happy with the way both sets of players have performed. Haven't missed too much either team.
No, been the odd half shot here and a wrecked guard here and there, but by and large, you're right. Both teams playing pretty well, and this game is very finely poised.
So refreshed, a little bite to eat at half time, get the energy levels up again. Right, as we're going to the business end of this tussle between these two very, very good teams. And tactically very sharp as well. Good grasp on strategy, an array of shots. Very creative teams.
That's a very nice shot there from Team Japan. There's 6 member associations competing in the women's event here at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships. And for the first time ever, 3 teams will advance from this competition to play in the World Women's Curling Championships, which will be held in North Bay in Canada in March 2018.
That really is a huge incentive for those teams just on the periphery, perhaps the teams that have never made it before.
I agree.
Still pretty open. 2 or 3 teams could still be in the reckoning for that.
Yes, it absolutely is. So 4 teams will make the medal round. And in the Pacific Asia Curling Championships, it's the same as the Olympic format in the sense that first-ranked team will play the 4th-ranked team. Second-ranked team will play the 3rd-ranked team in the semifinals. Winners will advance to the gold medal game. Losers of the semis will play in the bronze medal game, and all of the teams that finish on the podium will go to North Bay.
Motohashi, 85%. Japanese second. Good stop from Mari. Korea, the only team to have definitely qualified so far. still to happen in this women's round robin.
No, that's definitely true. Oh, another nice freeze there from Team Japan. So this is entertaining. Stones are beginning to cluster in and around the forefoot.
We like to see lots of stones in play.
Oh, yes.
Second for Korea, Chung Young Kim, slightly down her opposite number, 78%.
Oh, nice touch.
Again, doing the simple things well.
웨이트는 괜찮은 것 같아.
차는 게 약하게 약했어. 안 살렸으면 약했어.
So it is Korea with Last Rock here on the 6th. They're line 2. Red Rocks belong to Korea.
結構かぶってる半分ぐらい半分ジャストバックラインぐらいジャストバックラインね
旧エクステンションのちゃんとバックラインあった方がいいかな。
ちゃんとバックいや
旧
でもちょっと5フット内入るよね。
そうだね
ちょっとあっていいかな。
ジャストあっていいか上がってれば曲がるわ多分
バックラインジャストバックラインだけ。
オッケーいいよバックラインウェイトちょっと待って早いわ早いハック近いわまだまだちょっと早いよハック
Looking to make contact on her own stone, but this one is not curling. It's going to go right by everything.
I thought it might clip that other red there, but he missed even that one.
Yeah, frustration there from Mari Motohashi. I think she was looking for probably backline weight, and that was more like hack, and that little bit extra weight just carried the stone on a straighter path, and instead of hitting her own yellow rock in the front of the 8-foot, goes into the hack.
And against a team of this caliber, you know you could be punished.
No doubt. Nice stone there from Sun Young.
There they are, all lining up.
So now, of course, if Japan makes a play on that stone that the Koreans just threw, they will be moving red stones along, but that red stone behind the yellow rock will jam.
今のマリちゃんぐらいでいいよオッケーそれより速くならないようにするね結構そうだね14.2 だったからちょっと伸びてる
伸びてるね。
Uchinami Yoshida,
68%
68%. Japanese third.
Have to get by those front guard first, though. I think she's on it. She does. She crashes the front.
Her game definitely a little bit off.
Brings it into the 8-foot, so might be an annoying stone for Team Korea, but on balance, things looking pretty good for the team from Wisung in Korea.
아니면 위로 하면 지금 얘들은 할 게 커먼한드밖에 없어서 좀 별로? 그냥 이렇게 타이트하게.
우리 빨간 거랑 일자는
이렇게 일자. 괜찮아. 그리고 플랜비는 여기까지 너무 깊이 들어오지 마.
넷인가요? 넷?
내 깊이까지야. 거의 일자로 하려면 5 바이트.
경상은
다섯 바이트.
해도 될 것 같은데, 선녀. 타이탄이 좀 죽으니까 8방구 해도 될 것 같아.
셋이 더 나아.
Looks to me like it's going to be a guard.
Kyung Kim, 88%. She's having a super game.
As I said earlier, she's so often the player that makes things go for Team Korea. No, it's kind of an in-betweener. Certainly not awful, but they would have liked that about 1 foot, 2 feet shorter than stopped. Now you give Japan the chance to blast away at that rock and rattle things around and unlock those stones.
See how much rattling it's going to do. Oh.
Yeah, again, I'd have to call that one a sweeping error. They got that one a bit late. Missed the double takeout. And just goes by the rock just behind the tee line. Oh, so close. Korea knows they can't really leave that stone there.
So same line again.
Don't want to go across the nose, though. Oh, they got a break. Kyung-I knows that, yeah, I don't really want to go across nose.
It wasn't a bad outcome.
It wasn't a bad, but what that does do, now we see that that red-yellow tap all of a sudden now can get to the shot rock at the back of the button.
And that's exactly what they're looking at now.
Just that small glancing touch of that stone in the front forefoot just pushed it aside about a foot, but that changes everything. What Chinami's trying to work out is, will that yellow stone glance off that rock in the front of the forefoot, or will it go straight past it to the back stone? This is a candidate for a little bit of what we call drag effect. Sometimes the stones don't go the straight back path when you hit them. They veer off on a little bit of an angle.
You try and think of all the variables, though, don't you, Hansen?
Sure do.
Sometimes, for whatever reason.
There's the drag. And, well, the way... Yeah, it is shot stone. Now Team Korea has the chance to look at that yellow-red straight back. Because the way that the yellow-red are angled, if she hits a little bit on the center line side, she'll get the drag effect and push the red towards the yellow shot rock.
And that'll nudge it in.
Well, she could pick it clean and even save her shooter. But to do that, she'll need to get contact, as I said, probably about 3/4 on the center line side of that top yellow rock.
웨이트는 괜찮은데 릴리즈가 약했어요.
그래서 끝에 많이 떨어진 것 같아.
네. 후반 3.
Low stats for Jung Kim. Let's see what this one does.
It's pretty good. There's the drag. Perfect.
Look at that. What a super outcome for Korea.
약한 것 같아. 조금 약한 것 같아.
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
아니, 세게 때리고
너무
그랬나?
빠질 데가 없는데.
너무
야가 아예
무겁지 않아?
맞고 그때
안
너무
넘었으면
두껍게
괜찮았을
맞아서
것
잘 안
같은데.
나가는 것 같다. 맞죠? 우리가 맞을 대로 맞았으면은.
Look at the contact point and watch the backstone. Look at the angle it goes towards that Yellowstone. Looked like it was going to go straight past it when you looked at how they were lined up, but changes the angle on the drag. And all of a sudden, Korea is lying 4. Many of them are behind the tee line, though, so still one more get-out-of-jail card for Satsuki Fujisawa. Tapping her own into that welcoming nest in the 4-foot area.
She's got some backup there as well, hasn't she?
Tough shot, though.
78% Japanese skip. Just wants to make it as difficult as possible.
Can't over curl. They need to get some decent contact on it.
I think she's okay.
Oh, how good is that? Fantastic shot from Satsuki Fujisawa. Wow.
Under a lot of pressure there, the Japanese skip, and she's delighted she's made that.
Oh,
Well
yeah.
done, skip.
Happiness all around there.
So there it is.
Well, they know how important that was. She misses that shot, and it's maybe game over, literally. Could have dropped 4, maybe 5.
안 나갈 것 같은데.
그래도 조금 빡시긴 해.
And now it's a real problem for
얘 한번 보고 들어오면 버튼까지
the Korean skip.
여기 맞으면 돼.
If Korea wanted to try to do something really interesting, she could try to angle double in those 2 yellows. She might get 4 that way on the right-hand side of our picture. She is looking at jumping off her own. She could still get 3 or 4 that way, so that's probably the easier of the 2 options. But the problem of it coming this way is that this yellow stone, she's going to try and hit that red stone to the left of the brush, hit about half of it, jump across, hit the yellow, lose the red at the back, but that yellow stone may go sideways into the red rock in the right-hand side of the 8-foot. We'll see. It's going to be interesting.
So she could end up with 3.
She could end up with 3.
Wow, this would be some shot.
Squirted them around, and after all that, it's 1.
That's how it works out sometimes. It wasn't far away. They do secure their point. A point. They were lying 4 at one stage, but what a good outcome for Japan there. They must be delighted at restricting Korea to just 1. And after 6, Korea 5, Japan 3.
웨이트만 셋. 웨이트 와야 돼. 어딘데 확실히? 4. 와야 돼. 다다다다다다다다다다.
네. 좀만 더.
웨이트 자체가 약해?
네, 너무 약해. 시작.
So 7th end now of our featured game between Korea and Japan. We're live at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017 in Erina, in the state of New South Wales in Australia. Just north of Sydney, up the Central Coast. A beautiful part of the world. Players haven't had much time to see too much of the area. Busy round-robin programme. And that's primarily what they're here for, of course. And quite a tussle between these two. Good to watch. 5-3 Korea at the moment in this round-robin game.
That's right, Allison. We said off the top of the show that Korea, Japan, two of the higher rated teams in this tournament. We thought this would be a good one tonight, and it's certainly not disappointing.
Seen a lot of creativity out there. Some have come off, some haven't, but the players certainly not scared to try the big shots. Both sides pretty aggressive in their style of play.
Well, that's the thing that's really become much more of a trademark and curling all
game.
around in the women's game in particular in the last 5 to 10 years is that teams now are unafraid to really go for it, and that's terrific.
And there's more expertise, there's more knowledge of the game around. Let's check on what's happening elsewhere for you. That's our featured game on sheet A. On sheet B, Hong Kong are beating New Zealand 6-3 in the 7th end. 7-4 China over Australia. So Australia hanging on in there.
Yeah, and that's a game with some playoff implications for the New Zealanders as well. They're in contention for that 4th and final playoff spot, as are the team from Hong Kong. So double round robin. As we said, the teams will play each other twice, 10 games in total.
But this is the one we are concentrating on. Korea against Japan. I certainly expect Japan to be in the playoffs based on previous results.
I think they were looking at the double, but that's a pretty good result. They leave their stone sitting in front of the Korean stone. They'll use that later, run it back.
9번 할까? 좀 세야 되지 않을까?
미리 닦아가주세요.
Teams are thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead strategically. Contact, will it stay in the rings? I don't think so. Just rolls off. So a chance now for Japan to go around that guard. Got the hammer here in 7. Last rock.
2 skips.
Yeah.
Thinking slightly different things, perhaps. Possibly thinking exactly the same thing.
Well, as you said, Allison, these teams have faced each other many times, both at this event and on the World Curling Circuit. And so, yeah, very, very familiar with not only their own teams, but with each other and how they approach games. Not sure that extends fully to mind reading, but it's probably not far away.
Yeah.
That comes up short.
They just live and breathe curling, though.
Yeah, they sure do.
8번.
저 14초 5판이었어.
Both teams very popular in their home nations.
밀었어. 6번.
Nice weight there from Kyung-Ai Kim, but she really needed that one to curl another 3/4 of a rock.
Yeah, Super's working hard. Here it begins to come now, but it's just not coming round enough to have that cover, that protection. That yellow stone not far away.
No, it was not far away. There we can see a corner is hidden, but 2/3 of it available for Chinami Yoshida. A little extra rotation on this one from Chinami. It's tracking a little bit straighter. Gets a piece, glances off the second stone, but
Heading out.
yeah, don't think it's going to stick around. It's close. Oh, clinging on.
Yep, it's kind of spun in a bit, I think.
Might be one of these weird kind of ends where these little biters accumulate and all of a sudden you get 3 or 4.
근데 이번엔 조금 잡힌 거 같아.
똑같이 하고 그냥 위에다
Fighting, they still count.
Absolutely.
일단 저 옆에 거보다 내려가야 돼.
Well by the guards. This one's sliding past the tee line. They didn't really want that, but they do lie two. Now a bit of a decision for Japan. You could follow that down and just generate your pair that way, and that does seem to be what she's going to play. This could also be the time that you decide to run that stone, yellow stone, back on the red. But this one's a bit too inviting to leave unattempted. Again, they don't want the bump. Oh, that's perfect. Great shot from Yoshida.
Really well judged, wasn't it?
선영아, 저 13초 67인데?
8로 할까요?
8.
So that's where Korea paid the price for being 6 inches heavy with the draw attempt. Gave Chinami Yoshida the chance to freeze on top of it and get shot. And that one is just welded.
8. 지금 좀 죽어.
So on to the skip stones now in this end. Falling down the same channel here. Going to nestle up beside that other yellow one. Is it going to get there?
Great brushing. Didn't get shot, but they did certainly close up the scoring area for Japan. Japan does have last rock. Great brushing there from the Korean front end of Kim and Kim.
Kim 1, Kim 2.
Kim 3 and Kim 4. All players on this team sharing the surname. Must make it a bit difficult at team laundry time.
今ノースイープだもんね、シナの。斜めちょっとだけ押してもいいよ。これ縦になっちゃったらもう使えないんだ。斜めだったら最後バンってやった時に。
Uh-oh. Satsuki was saying, I'm going to go back and have a look, and there's another stone there. Oops, I forgot about that one.
Oh my goodness. Nobody injured, fortunately. Was the stone moved? And such great sportsmanship, asking if she's all right. We didn't quite catch that on camera.
No, Satsuki's going, okay, this game had to be on TV, right?
She's thinking, oh,
Well, after something like that, it's important that you reset and go through your pre-shot routine.
yep, she must absolutely compose herself here after that moment of hilarity. Just because it's an important stone, they've set this end up well.
ちょっとラインタイトだわ上がりやすいよいいよ待ってラインタイウェイトは
Something like that can throw you occasionally.
Well, they just don't have much room to operate down here, so it's going to be all about the angle and the weight. This one's over curling, so they're just going to let it stop.
13.9
중간 약간 센터 쪽으로 이렇게 막는 게 낫지 않을까? 이렇게.
So my guess now is that Eun Kim
끝에 잡으니까 안 오긴 안 오더라.
just try to throw another one down there with just top button weight, but this time close off a bit of the button area. Even okay if she's 5 feet short. Yep, right there.
Yeah, just throw it into the mix to make things difficult.
Probably don't mind Japan scoring one here. That will give them last rock again in the next end. And importantly, in the even ends, we talked about that this afternoon. Teams try to control the latter part of the game so that they have last rock in the 8th and the 10th end. That gives them really one more chance to score than their opponents.
Yeah, of course, that 2-shot lead at the moment. Is this going to catch that in there? No, it isn't. In it goes.
It's a nice shot. So now if you're Satsuki Fujisawa, how do you get a second one in there? Can you tap that yellow between the two reds and perhaps squeeze it through and get two that way? Saw her make an amazing shot in the 5th end.
Well,
Squeaking through a port. She's having a look.
she's got one shot in the bag there, that yellow. She doesn't want to jeopardize that.
Well, she's definitely going to make a play on the yellow. The question is, how hard do you hit it? For me, for safety, you just play back 4-foot weight and just try to straight tap it to the button through the hole. I think if you throw a weight at it, takeout weight, you run some risk and bad things can happen. If you're just playing gentle weight, they're all tough shots, but if something doesn't go well, you're not going to create a catastrophe. You don't want to not score.
You certainly don't want to give your opponent anything either.
No, does look like she's going to play some play some weight at it because it's certainly not a lot of ice.
Last stone of this 7th end.
Oh, well, buckle up, folks. This is going to be entertaining.
Are we in for some more drama here? One. Bingo. Away it goes.
Well, she pushed it through the hole, but a little bit harder than I thought she was going to
It was
try and do it.
pretty hard. However, they secure their one stone. She's just thinking about what happened there, though. Narrowed the gap
Single point.
after 7. It's now Korea 5, Japan 4.
いやいややっぱこっちちょっと落ちてるねトップの時に1エンド目からね 飛ばしはあるねまいちゃんクリーンだわ
1半
あいや大丈夫だわ
入るわ1ウェイトだけ
ちょっとあるぐらいごめんちょっとあるわちょっと伸びてる
2はあるな
Not much in this one, folks.
こっち側の方がちょっと伸びてる
5 to 4. Korea now with the last rock, so Japan throws the center guard.
위로야. 8번.
Just get the feeling, Allison, that this end will be pivotal.
웨이트만 더. 사사 냈다 사. 네. 그냥 와야지. 그냥 와야지. 일단 와야지.
Both these teams know how to
왜 이렇게 많이 돌지?
see games out, though, if they're in a winning position.
이게.
Comparison of the leads. Yoshida and Kim.
Nothing to choose there.
No, both playing very well indeed.
1半あるわ。ちょっと伸びそう。ちょっと伸びそう。
Solid performances from both lead players.
さっきと同じぐらいあるよ。入ればいいよ。さっきと同じぐらいいっちゃう。止まってはきてるけど。ちょっと上がったらいいね。オッケー。いいよ。
Japan would absolutely love to steal this end. That would set them up to have last rock in the 10th and be in a pretty good position to try and go for the win. Korea, on the other hand, they just want to score. The decision for them is, do you just keep it open and play for your one, or do you go hard and play for your two and try to put the game away? And judging by the shot selection early in the end, it looks to me like Eun Kim is saying, the time is now. Go for it. Can't say I'm surprised.
Japan are chasing here, though. They are chasing the game. They are the ones that are behind, albeit very narrowly.
Oh, look at that. Draws around the stone in the front of the forefoot. Hides behind it in the back of the forefoot. That's a great shot.
Again, well played their lead.
We talked about the game this afternoon between the Korean men and China, and they're, again, not a great deal to choose between the seconds. Sun Young Kim with a slight edge over Mari Motohashi, but attempted guard clear here. Jams on the second. But the Chinese just kept hanging around, and they pulled it out.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over. Especially with two teams like this who play at this level. They'll have been in both positions, they'll have been in winning positions and seen the game out. They'll have chased from behind and won. All scenarios are possible.
Will they get this one across that red hog line? Has to go completely across that line to stay in play. Team effort there. Just getting it across.
Get the heart racing. Goodness.
Absolutely.
That's where all the training comes into play. 3-hour games, a long time to maintain your concentration.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and it's late in the evening of what's been a long day undoubtedly for the players. When Young say bumper, that's the kind of weight that she would like Sun Young Kim to throw. Looks pretty good. Oh, how good is that? Great shot.
Extremely well judged. Absolutely spot on.
Sun Young Kim acknowledges the congratulations of her teammates. Look at this. That stone was half buried, and she gets to the nose and drives it straight back. Perfect.
Job done.
This one's going to get a piece, but it's not going to get the second stone. Leaves her own stone sitting just in front of the forefoot.
컨트롤이 나을 것 같아.
이해할까?
네.
약간 이게 좋아. 그리고 앞에 막는 게 나을 것 같아.
Not much ice being taken there, so she must be planning to throw a reasonable amount of weight at this. She'd like to save her shooter. It's a good shot. Would have liked to maybe another rock's width worth of roll, but Korea lies too. There we see that Kyung-ae Kim talked about her being the fire plug for this Korean team, having a pretty substantial statistical edge over Chinami Yoshida.
Yep, what a difference there. Oh,
So close. Leaves her stone in a pretty annoying place for the Korean perspective, though.
컨트롤? 컨트롤로 할게요. 좀 돌 것 같아, 내 거.
Problem for the Koreans, of course, if they ever hit it on the brush side of the stone, they're just going to jam. So, control weight, not full takeout weight, just down from full takeout weight. She'd like to just get a hair across nose to get the roll behind the guards. Oh, that is mighty fine right there, folks.
and look where it rolls to.
Yeah, great shot.
근데 치는 거밖에 못할 거야, 라인이.
조금만 덜 갔으면.
She's thinking, yeah, it rolled maybe a third of a rock too much.
Well, they're all after perfection, aren't they?
Sure are.
There she's looking at it. That's probably exactly what she's saying there, Hans. But she's
So,
smiling.
Yeah, well, it was a good throw. Those are really fine margins when you're trying to control a roll like that. But this is pretty much a must-make for Satsuki Fujisawa. Boy, this one's really moving.
He's going to
Gee
catch that
whiz.
other yellow.
Yeah, not even close.
Not quite, but
Not even close. I wonder if that one picked something up, because that was miles away from the intended target. And there we see Fujisawa with a small statistical edge over Eun-young Kim, but not a great deal to choose between the fourths.
약간 여기 잡고 그냥 아예 그렇다고 아니면
지금
조금
좁아가지고 타운점 있게 해가 여기 좀 부딪히자.
조금 타이트하게 잡고 부딪혀서 이렇게 나오든지 해야 될 것 같은데
근데
아니면
많이
그냥
돌아서 그렇게 타이트하게 안 잡아도 되지 않을까?
웨이트는 5, 6번 해야 될 것 같아 센 건 별로 없고
6 많아. 5.
좀 더 타이트하게 잡아야 되려나? 여기가
If you're a fan of Team Korea, though,
8번?
8번
this is maybe your moment right here.
괜찮으면 위로 올려 그냥
8번 9.
Can Eun-young Kim really close the door on Fujisawa? She'd like to come top 12 foot. Take away the access into the scoring area.
blocking all entrances. That's the plan.
Is she going to flirt with the guards?
That's very similar, isn't it, to the previous shot? But she's through, or is she?
And Korea lies 3, but that one does over curl. So one last roll of the dice for Satsuki Fujisawa.
And all these stones have been coming down that similar line.
7、
조금만 더 이렇게 와도 야들 힘들 것 같긴 한데.
ちょっとねセンター付近すごい曲がるから
Eun-young knows that
かわしてちょうど来るかなって感じ
she's still giving Satsuki a get out of jail card here, but this one has to be perfect. Otherwise, Japan could drop a bundle. Little inside out with that release. Oh, this one's moving as well.
A lot
Has
of red
this one got the
stones.
weight?
Similar problem again, perhaps.
Has to get by that stone in the top 12 foot, but no, it's over curling as well.
Oh my goodness, those 3 reds in position there for Korea.
Wow. Well, I talked about this 8th end. I just had a feeling that it was going to be pivotal, and so it's turning out to be. Korea now with a draw for 4.
Yeah, I mean, 2 stones from Fujisawa there. I thought she might have got some knowledge from that first one, that first delivery, and yet look at that one, yellow one, just on the 12 foot, doing no good whatsoever.
Such fine margins. 3 more feet of weight, and at least she cuts Korea down and probably forces them to take 1. But
That's what she's thinking.
can Eun-young Kim convert?
Chance really to screw the nut here. Right down the outside. Not many seen many stones come down this side as far as that. Here it comes round now.
Oh, very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Look at that, folks. 4 red counting stones, 4 for Korea. And that's just too much to come back from. So super victory for Team Korea. In the end, they looked in control for most of the game. And disappointing finish if you're Team Japan. Tiny, tiny margins, Hans.
Well, absolutely. We saw that Fujisawa made a great hit and roll in 5 to bring the Japanese close. They struggled in the first half of the game, but you know, this Korean team just a bit too strong. And yes, in the 8th end, when they had the chance to close the door, they closed the door firmly. Kyung Ai Kim at 3rd had a sensational game. And for me, she was the difference maker. She set that end up. And that's your final score, 9-4 for Korea. Highlights from our feature match in the women's competition, Korea versus Japan. In the 3rd end, Japan's Satsuki Fujisawa trying an inside hit and roll to try and score 2, but it's a little bit wide. It's a steal of 1, so Korea goes on top 2-1. In the 4th, Fujisawa trying to make a double takeout to maybe score 2. But this one over curls, wrecks on the front, and it's a steal of 2 for Korea. Korea holding a 4-1 lead after 4. Look at that cluster of rocks Is there any way through for Satsuki Fujisawa? Navigates past the guard, hits and rolls off her own stone into the button for 2. Great shot from the Japanese skip. And they close it up. It's Korea 4 and Japan 3. And in the 8th end, an attempted freeze from Fujisawa comes short, so Korea's Eun Young Kim has to draw the 12-foot for 4, and she makes it. Closing this one out, a big 4-point end. Japan concedes the final. Korea 9 and Japan 4.
그냥 살아다가 죽는데 게임들을 하면 더 노는 거.
그리고 사이드 쪽은 아예 그냥 그.
Now let's meet Eun Young Kim.
Now, how do you feel about the win?
먼저 일단 이겨서 네. 일단 승률을 하나 더 쌓을 수 있어서 기분이 좋고, 그리고 일본이 되게 잘하는 팀이라서 개인적으로 팀적으로 약간 목표 의식이 좀 있었는데 그 게임을 또 한 번 더 이겨서 기분이 좋아요.
First of all, we win. One more win is too good, and she tried to focus to the Japan is too good team. We know that. Everybody know that. So she trying more to focus ourselves, yeah, and then win successful. We like that.
Have we seen the best of Korea yet? Can Korea play even better?
I don't know.
Can you ask her that?
코리아가 좀 더 잘하는 것 같냐고.
우리가 이번 대회에서 조금 더 우리가 집중을 잘 하는 것 같은데 아직까지는. 근데 일본이랑은 항상 마지막까지 가봐야 된다고 생각은 하고 있어요.
This competition, we little bit better because we need more. We more good the reading and other things. The ice is so tricky, yeah, and focus is really more better. But Japan all the time too hard team to us, so we know the more focus after the game.
What would it mean to win this again?
한 번 더 이긴 이 승리가 의미하는 게 어떤 건지.
좀 더 자신감을 가지고 게임에 임할 수 있을 것 같아요. 앞으로도 더 남은 게임.
She feels more comfortable, and she's the confidence. She feels more confidence, and she try more good. After game, she need to try more good, successful that she doing. You understand? Sorry.
No. Thank you and well played.
Oh no, 어떡해.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, it's so confusing.
So Team Korea continues to roll merrily along in the women's competition at the Pacific Asia Curling Championships 2017. It's been a fantastic day of curling here in Erina, Australia. On behalf of Alison Walker, our entire production crew, I'm Hans Fraunlaub. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow from Erina, Australia.